how to feel finger to finger? Interlinked.
Interlinked.
Do you long for having your heart interlinked? Interlinked.
Interlinked.
Do you dream about being interlinked?
Interlinked.
What's it like to hold your child in your arms? Interlinked.
Interlinked.
Do you feel that there's a part of you that's missing? Interlinked.
Interlinked.
Within cells, interlinked.
Within cells interlinked.
Why don't you say that 3 times? Within cells, interlinked.
Within cells interlinked. Within cells interlinked. Within cells interlinked.
We're done.
And yet we're just getting started. Welcome to the podcast. This is Interlinked. We have a special guest today. You will see who that is in a second. Before I get started on that, I want to talk about what this is. This is our podcast. This show, this space for discussion is something that I am opening up to all of us. Any of you who feel like you have a story that needs to be said, something that you feel that if it's heard, it could help someone that would need to hear it. I have plenty of things that I've been through in my life, and countless times, time and time again, as humans, we all go through these things almost on a daily basis that we just kind of let fly by. And I want a safe space for all of us to be able to come together and speak about these things and spread that message of not only what we went through, but how we got through it, and also everything else in between and outside of that, and itself as a whole. So this is Interlinked. Welcome. I look forward to having you on. If you would like to join us, leave a comment below, and also let's do this.
Whew. You're nervous on your first podcast?
A little bit.
I'm excited though. Excited, nervous.
Of course.
Okay.
First ever episode.
So my first ever question
Yes.
is going to be, how do you feel we got here, like right now, today? Like through everything we've been through.
Okay.
Like I'm talking our friendship here. Like,
Okay.
how do you feel like we got here? Like, what the fuck happened? Like,
It was an odd sort of events. We knew of each other through like mutuals at first,
yeah,
but we connected a lot more through online because
which is crazy.
because
to think
James,
about.
our friend, really
Yeah.
brought us in together in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
And through there, we just started talking more at school.
Yeah.
And then through school, we just hanged out a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Then we just did a lot of stupid shit growing up.
And we were both super quiet.
Oh yeah,
Like
we
back
were
in
our
middle
own little
school,
worlds.
Like I remember, I don't know, I know meeting you. I think it was like when we were all like in that like kind of circle,
Yeah.
like just like in the middle of the center of the school. Like I remember we were all kind of like doing our own thing. I was super innocent. I was
We were
super
all
innocent, so I was all nervous and like I don't know, seeing it was like you and James and like Everett and everyone that we used to hang out with, and you know, I think there was just some sort of shift that like made us gravitate towards each other.
I think it was high school.
High school definitely, but also like I don't know, you were making YouTube videos and I thought that was cool as fuck. Because you were in 8th grade making the YouTube videos and stuff, and I remember people would be talking about it, and I would just be like I watched like a couple of them, like because someone showed me them, and I just remember thinking like, oh, that's fucking cool, because I made videos like in 6th grade about Minecraft and stuff, because like that's how I started.
It was such an odd era for both of us.
Yeah, I mean we're growing up, and it's like you don't know like what you really love, or like you know what you love, but not to the point where you're like, what can I do with this?
We were still trying to find things out.
Exactly, yeah. And just getting familiar with like life in general, and seeing that you were interested in like taking gaming to like another level, like with YouTube and stuff. I don't know, it said something about you to me, and that was like where I like figured out, I'm like, okay, like he's kind of like a little He's got a little something there, like a little different.
A little
And-
different, a little weird.
Yeah, like me. And that's why I feel like we resonated. And then, like you said, high school came along. I wouldn't even say like ninth grade we were like crazy close. I think 10th grade was like where we clicked, in my opinion. What do you think?
I don't know, because in ninth grade and freshman year we had class together. I'm pretty sure we had a one.
Did
right?
we? I don't remember.
It was that one was our first year of American Sign Language.
That was 10th grade. That was
Was
10th grade.
10th grade?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're still pretty close because our friend groups were just the same.
Yeah, at that point, like we had established
We were
like
just-
the Destiny friend group, like hanging
Yeah.
out with James, Jason, Mark. Like Nate was in the group at the time. Like,
Yeah.
obviously you, Waldo, and Ruben, and like all of us. So we had that group, and like we
There was
were,
also the other friend group that we had. That was our school friend group. of course.
yeah, which we know how that went. Not good, by the way. I mean, hey man, like over time, people's true colors show, and like if it needs to happen, it does, and that's what happened. So, but as far as like our current friend group that like we still have and stuff, and we were there like in ninth grade. I agree. Like we were like playing games together online at that point.
It was constant playing games. We were always
Yeah.
like just after school. It was like online.
Oh God, and Destiny was huge for
That
me and
was a
James
big-
specifically.
That was a big Destiny
Yeah,
one.
it was
I
good
like Destiny one.
times.
Destiny one was like my favorite. I wouldn't say Destiny 2 so much. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, no, it went downhill because money grabbing and all that. But anyways, so yeah, we gravitated towards each other at that point, like right after middle school. Middle school was like the click,
Yeah.
and then it's just like easy from there. And what I love about our friendship is that even more so than friendship, brotherhood, literally, is that we've like even before we started this today, like we had a heated like one-on-one conversation of like it was specifically about like fruit being planted on like main roads and like how that would affect people's jobs, and then also going into like how the focus has been shifted towards like America and like where we are specifically, like constantly trying to help other countries and like in the wrong ways, like giving money towards war and all this bullshit. And when that money and like that energy needs to be put on us as the people. And so we just had this like heated conversation of like how like the healthiest way would be to approach that situation. And obviously we're different people, so we have different perspectives.
Of course.
And so we're like passionate about those perspectives. But what I always love is no matter how passionate we are about like the way that we feel, we don't just block the other person's perspective out. Like we hear them out.
Yeah, like we always
And-
try to understand each other in that regard, because like we
Yeah.
just want to hear like how we're like interpreting our like thoughts about this correctly, of course.
Exactly.
And it's like it does get heated. I would say like
Yeah.
we would get to that point where like it was almost gonna be a screaming match.
Yeah. But it never does, because we understand like screaming isn't the way to get your point across.
Yes,
You know
of
what I
course not.
mean? But like we're that energetic and passionate about what we're talking about that we could reach that point.
Yeah,
But we know that just because we disagree doesn't mean like we got to scream at each other about it.
no, of course.
But it
not.
does mean we can get like a little passion, like a little.
Of course.
It gets a little heated, a little intense, but it's a healthy intense. So that's what I love about our conversations specifically. Like, and that's like the average day to day. Like that, like we have those conversations. Like we'll go into the car to like go for a ride because we're just
Yeah.
like we want something to do. No idea what we're gonna talk about, and then just like instantly just one thing comes up, and we just talk about like literally it's limitless, like
Yeah, it's
no
the most
boundary.
random conversations that you probably would never want to hear, honestly.
But you need to at the same time, because it's like it's the things that people don't talk about, and somehow that comes up from something as simple as like how are things going with that person, or like how have you been like mentally, or like just like what's going on like
course,
in
but
your life, in my life.
I guess this is the
Yeah.
best way to put it. It's like no matter what, we're just trying to get to know each other a lot more on like a
Mhm.
deeper level as like friends. It's
Yeah.
like because our minds are always changing every day. So like it's best that we always keep each other updated on like how we think about things and when we approach it as well.
It's important because like as you said, as people, we're always growing. So it's like when you have these relationships, whether it's like with a friend or a spouse or family, you need to always be aware of like who this person is, and beyond just like what their actions have shown you, like what are they like continuing to do.
Yeah,
Like
of
it's not
course.
all just about like what they have done. It's like what are they doing now? Because we can't just like if let's say hypothetical here, you and I had gotten along great for all these years, but like now like either me or you are like messing up and we're like doing some fuck shit whatever. Just because we got along all these years doesn't mean that like those actions make up for what's going on right now.
Of course
Like
not.
what it has to be a constant of like we're growing, and that doesn't mean we're perfect. Like me and you are gonna fuck up here and there. Like it'll
Everyone
happen.
fucks up.
Exactly, we all do. We're all human. Like like
Hopefully.
we're all yeah. I mean, and even if not, like everyone makes mistakes, bro. And like regardless, like I feel like I was about to say, can a tree make a mistake?
Yes.
Can a tree make a mistake?
Yes.
In what way?
By falling over.
But is it the
By
tree's
growing in
fault?
wrong spots.
Well, I guess yeah. I mean, at that point, it's just product of environment, which is literally
What we are. As well.
humans. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay, well, there's that. That's fucking cool. And see what I mean? Like we're not even talking about that, but it just gets to that point, and that just
Like we all discuss like the most random things because we're just trying to see like how we make sense of them.
yeah. Because I mean, when that kind of thought comes up, we need to ask ourselves like, why did that thought come up? And like that's when you dig deep into okay, like why did I just say that? And like literally ask it, and then that becomes a whole
Conversation.
yes, and growth. Like everything comes from that. And it's so interesting because humans are just naturally such curious beings.
Of course.
Like we're
We're
always
destructive in many ways as well.
yeah, curiosity can kill the cat at times for sure. And but the thing is, it can also fucking like heal the cat, I guess. Like you know what I mean? It really does
Humanity
go
is
both
the
ways.
greatest thing that ever happened for us.
Yeah, I mean, in the sense of like living, because I mean, we've never been here. You know what I mean? So it's easy to call it the greatest thing, but
Also,
also like
evolution as well.
Like, yeah,
the way we evolved and how different everyone is, like now till then, it's like fascinating.
it is fascinating, and at the same time, like you said, it can be destructive, and so that's where we have to find that balance. And humans are constant. I like to call us like perfectly imperfect. Like we have so many things about us that are so intricate, like down to the organs. Like literally, like our organs are organized in a way that is so perfect that it's like the most optimal way for our blood flow and our like veins and everything to be structured. And yet we still do things as stupid as like build nukes and shit and like use them on each other. So it's like that fucking balance that we're constantly trying to find. And I think right now things are definitely tilted towards one side of the scale, but I that does not mean that it can't be, restored. And I think through like the way of restoring that balance is through us like paying attention to ourselves like on a day-to-day basis, like what are we doing to make sure that we have balance in our own lives, and then that affects like the greater balance, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I see where you're coming from.
yeah.
In most regards, I don't see it as like one is on the other, like one is above the other side at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
If I have to be honest, it's like no matter what, every day we are growing, we are all changing, and it's like you will always see good every day as much as you see the bad.
That's facts.
It's just that the bad is always shown more because that's where most people view, click, you know.
Mm-hmm. That's because it's easy. It's easy
Yeah,
to
of
like
course it's
stub your
easy.
toe and be like, "Fuck, that hurt." You know what I mean? But
A lot of people pay attention more towards the negative than the positive.
yeah,
Because the positive is like something that lasts for a monetary moment, and it's like, okay, what's the next thing now?
yeah, and that's where, because when things don't go our way, like we focus. Okay, let's rephrase this. Like when things do go our way, we're happy about it. Let's say you win, like whatever, or things go great with the family. You finally meet that person, whatever. You're happy about it, but you're like living in it. So you're constantly enjoying it, but you're not really thinking about, oh, I'm so glad this thing worked out well, because you're in it, you're present.
Yeah.
But when something bad happens, like you stub your toe, that pain from the past is resonant. So you're constantly caught up in the past. And that's why it feels like it's like so heavy, because you're not present. And it's almost like,
But isn't that the good thing though? The harmony is what brings, like the pain can also bring you back to what the positive shown.
yes, I agree that like having things like pain create a greater and deeper appreciation for things like peace. However, like that pain keeps us in the past. And I think what I really want to emphasize on is how being in the past affects our ability to be present. And of course, like in the sense of you're now focused on fuck, I stubbed my toe versus like I met that person and I'm so happy about that. You're not always thinking about being happy about that because you're in it. You're in it. So you're constantly grateful for it, but not to the point where you're like, fuck yes, I met that person. Maybe here and there, but like there's no residual like ouch, that really hurt. You know what I mean? And that doesn't like keep you back, but that kind of pain can keep us back and it keeps us from being present. And I think we need to figure out a way to be present, but have that constant gratitude lingering in the back of our mind of like, holy fuck, like we're here right now.
Isn't that what the growth is?
That is growth. That is growth.
Because
And
you
it takes
need
time.
that pain and that, you know, experience to really see like how to grow as that from those issues regarding it all.
Yeah.
Because like if you stub your toe more than once, it's like that's your own fault at that point. You're not growing to avoid stubbing your toe. Be it that it may, it's like unexpected events, and that's what it means, an unexpected event.
And you can't plan that.
Yeah,
You can't. Yeah, you can't.
You can't
plan
change it.
that.
You can't plan it. It's like it's just gonna happen. You gotta just let it be.
And we make the most from it too, because
course.
like we do our best to grow from it. But again, if it needs to happen, then
We all have grown. We all have been through like hardships through our lives.
Mhm.
Some worse than others, of course. Like not everyone has been given a good dealt of hands in life.
Yeah.
And like I hope the people that did have one appreciate what they had.
Mm-hmm. When I sit here right now and we're like, even just having this conversation, like it's amazing to me because I just remember like building this studio and thinking like,
and you've done a great job so
there's
far.
so
like,
much to
there's
go.
Still a lot more. To
I know there
like,
is.
Decoration wise, like you can probably put something here.
Oh, most definitely.
Probably get curtains if you're gonna do some daytime. Like
I know I got the sun like shining, which I don't mind actually. I love the sun, so
yeah,
I don't mind. But I get
future
you.
references, you know.
Yes. But I just like I look at how far we've come, and like I am thankful for it. Like I'm so fucking thankful for it, and even just having like the roof over my head, and just the roof over my head, like that's fucking huge. And as deeply as I appreciate all of it, like literally as I said, like I'm not constantly thinking about it because I'm in it. And so that makes me feel like I'm not appreciating it enough. But that's not true because I'm like so fucking thankful for it that I enjoy being in it and it makes me feel so comfortable and safe that I don't have to be like, fuck, I stubbed my toe or I'm in this house. You know what I mean?
It's more positivity towards it all. It's like you can just keep doing more good things so that you enjoy.
Exactly.
It just ignores it.
Literally exactly that, bro. Yes. Like it creates room. Like you're not stuck thinking about being in this. You're now thinking about, oh, this is so fucking beautiful. What else can I do to make this experience even greater?
Yeah,
and like enjoy it even more. And self-love, literally improving on ourselves. And if we want change, like change your environment. Like which usually means like, you know, like what are you eating? Where are you putting yourself? Like are you going to fucking clubs and shit or are you going on a walk in nature? Like if you feel like you're like isolated in your room all the time, like go outside. You know what I mean? Like change that environment and watch everything around you shift like mentally, physically and spiritually in beautiful ways. And like that's what I've done here, bro. Like I used to like just wake up and go straight across my room to like my desk, like that corner desk. I would just wake up,
it's not
go
really
to the desk
because it's like right across my room. I don't really
exactly. But like I decided when I like fully honed in on like, you know, like what I need to be doing, I was like I need a space to create like
a separate room. It's always going to be habits because you don't want to be working or doing the things that you do all the time next to your sleeping, like your rest.
You need a place to rest and you need a place to work. And it is possible. I mean, I went 5 years learning how to sing and songwrite and record and all these things like in the same room I was sleeping in.
Yeah.
But given
I just live
like,
with it, so I'm like accustomed to it in that natural sense.
Yeah.
So I have no issue regarding it.
and that was me too. I didn't have an issue either. Like the reason why I came into this space is because my sister moved out and
Yeah.
I had the opportunity, so I took it. You know what I mean? Like when those opportunities arise, we need to take them, you know? And so right now, like the reason why you are still in your room is probably because like that opportunity hasn't arisen.
Of course.
And so you just got to wait until that comes. But until then, like you said, we make the most of what we do have.
Of course.
And that's what I did in my room for fucking like 5 years was wake up, go across the room, song write, fucking like put some headphones on so no one hears me. And I'm like whispering, singing into like my phone. Like, you know
Those
what I
are
mean?
Some odd times.
Dude, I remember when we would be on Discord and like just fucking like make music on call, bro. Like,
oh god,
those were such great times. Like,
such a weird era of our life.
it was weird. It was weird, but not in a bad way.
Of course not, because we were just hanging out.
And we were just having
Not physically,
fun, bro.
like hanging out, like of course, like as we do right now. But
Yeah, and that's why it's weird too, because it's like the fact that we can create something together, but we're not even in the same room, even in the same vicinity. Like, that's fucking weird. It's weird, but it's cool. But it's like
the internet, it's a
yeah,
blessing.
It is a blessing in disguise. Like there's like it lacks the human touch of like being together in person, you know? Like if we were to try and have this conversation on a call, I definitely wouldn't feel the same. Not
course
saying
not.
I would feel bad,
Because
but
I guess is the way for me, in a sense, that I'll talk on my own. I express way more when I'm like in person, like
Mhm.
when I'm talking to
I agree with that 110%.
online. I can do
personally.
it to a degree, but it just doesn't come out the same. In the
Yeah.
way. Unless I'm like showing my camera, like if I have my camera on.
Yeah, and that's because it's like you see the face. You know what I mean? Like when you can
Because
see
expressions and all of that changes like the whole conversation and flow of things.
it does. And that's why text is like such a burden sometimes.
That's why I'm blunt in my text.
Yeah, I know.
I don't like texting. Call me.
Yo.
Well, no, text me if you're
Yeah.
gonna call me. Then like I'll answer you and I'll be able to like have a deep conversation.
Yeah, I've like obviously getting to know you over all these years, like I've become accustomed to like the way that you text, so I
Yes.
never take it personally. But I could easily see someone who like doesn't know you the way I know you, and they start texting you, and they're like, "Does this dude even like me?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, why is he even responding to me? Like,
I just
No, I
can't
get it.
articulate myself like on text. It's just like the words don't come out like on text as I'm like thinking at the same time.
yeah.
It's probably like my only like mishap. Right?
I do my best to use emojis and stuff because like they do help. But even then, like it's like everyone's perspective
I'm
is
not in
so
that texting
different.
game, okay? Though this is a whole different
Dude.
realm for me that I'm just not trying to really care for.
That's the thing is like, bro, just call me. Like if there's a lot that we need to talk about, just call me.
Yeah.
Like it's way easier. And FaceTime I've been kind of falling in love with recently. It's cool.
I don't really have that many people to FaceTime. I'm just
Yeah.
in my own little world all the time. You know how?
Well, yeah, I feel you. I feel you. But like even us, we should FaceTime more to be honest. Like
Would
it's
be
good,
nice.
bro. It's good. It's just like I was on call with a friend. He was practicing like his wedding speech, and we were able to fully articulate ourselves like with facial features
Yes.
and also like hearing the person, but being able to see like his reactions to like my suggestions through because he needed help with like his groom speech.
Yeah.
He just wanted to like go through it and like edit a couple things, and so I offered the help. And like as we're going through it, I can see like how he feels about my suggestions versus like if we were just on the phone with no facial features, I wouldn't know if like he's into the suggestion or maybe he likes it, but like maybe there's something that he feels is missing.
Yes.
Like all these little things we can pick just by like seeing how the person's face like reacts. And it's like it's so cool. You'd be like, I don't know why, but I've always had a knack. I don't know what you would call it. Like I have a thing for like reading a person's body language or like facial features. Like ever since I was like a kid, like I've always just like been able to pick up on like what people are feeling by like looking at them and the
Yeah.
way they respond to things in situations. And I think that's just called being human. Like when you're human, like you can pick up on things, but not everyone can. Not everyone can.
Yeah.
But I think that it takes that awareness. You know what I mean? Of like, okay, I said something and I care about how this person's going to respond. So like I'm paying attention to how they're moving their body,
Yes.
you know? And doesn't mean you have to care enough to where it's like, oh, if they react bad, all of a sudden everything changes, but enough to where you're paying attention, you know? You're like, is this person good? So yeah, it's an interesting concept.
For sure, very interesting.
Yeah. And then I'll also ask you this. I'll ask you this. And then I want you to ask me something as well. Because I'm curious what kind of question you would have for me about anything. Which again, let me ask you one more question. Just like growing up, like where you have, and you've moved a lot, right?
Oh yeah, I moved around a lot when I was younger.
Like, how would you describe that experience to be when it comes to like who you are as a person today? Like growing up and constantly like moving around and having your mother with you all the time, who's like become the parent figure. Like, how would you say that has like forged you into like who you are today? If it has, like,
It forged me in many ways. I was a lot more observant because I'm always moving, so I was never tied to like just friendships and all that. Like I wouldn't say I had like many friends growing up because I didn't get some till like was like in second grade.
yeah,
So every time I was just with my family, like eating and all that.
Mhm.
Be the financially, my situation wasn't the best. You know, growing up poor and all that, it wasn't easy. Of course, being my mother, like she did the best she could to teach me and raise me.
yeah, and she's done a pretty fucking
Yeah,
phenomenal
but
job.
a lot of it I had to do on my own as well. It's
Yeah.
like growing up without like a father figure in that regard. It's like there was many things I had to learn on my own. It took time. It's like what it truly means to be a man. Like my mom really teach me that fully. It's like probably not. Like she probably teach me like what are good principles of men. But to truly be a man, I think that was something I just had to go look out for myself. I didn't have my father in my life, so those were questions that always arisen as I moved around.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say it was bad. I was given opportunity to think differently and grow faster than others.
Yeah, I would definitely say so.
Because I remember I had to like take care of my own little sister, like when she was younger, because she would get hungry, and I was like, I can go get you a bowl of cereal right now. I was like 5, 6.
Yeah,
doing that,
and you're already taking like that like parental love kind of position.
Yeah, it's like you have to grow up fast when it comes to like issue or like situations, not issues. When it comes to those,
That's that like perspective right there too.
yeah,
I love that you call it a situation versus an issue
yeah,
because it can be handled. You know what I mean? And it's just like, yes, it feels like a predicament, but it doesn't mean that it's like, oh fuck, I'm like we just handle this. You know what I mean?
You just do what you had to do at that point. It was like plain and simple. Keep moving around, and yeah, I was happy knowing that I got to experience that. I would still be upset about the misfortunes of like not having a place to stay fully and grow up with it. But it was nice having the viewings of different places. I moved around a lot, so I saw many different things.
Yeah.
So
you've definitely seen more than me too.
So it's like it was always cool to like see a lot of places.
Yeah.
Just gave me ideas of like what to find interesting for myself.
I want to ask, like, going back a little bit, just to like, not having friends like before, like first or second grade. Like, what would you do if you remember? I know it's a long time ago. Like, in that time period where you didn't.
Where I didn't, I was just at home playing toys or just spending time with my mother. Like she would either take me to her work, or I had to go with my family.
There you go. So like bonding with the people around you at that point.
Be it that they were older than me, so it was hard to get accustomed to all that. So I was like just always alone, quiet, trying to figure out what I can do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you feel like that's a reason why you wouldn't go out of your way to make friends like at that time, because you felt like you were moving so much that it's like, what's the point?
I made friends fast. I wouldn't say I had like nobody, but it's just that I couldn't keep these friends long term because one, I didn't have a phone.
Yeah, I mean,
The whole internet thing was like slowly coming like to our era and all that.
Yeah.
Growing up with phones,
especially first grade,
Yeah.
like you
it's
should
like
not.
I'm not gonna remember all these people. It's gonna
Yeah.
be forever. It's like,
Yeah.
but growing up with everyone, it's like from like what I can remember is like there were cool people, all that, and I had no hatred. I just like wish I was able to keep a bond with these individuals to a
Yeah.
degree, and I kept the ones that I could because my mom was friends with their parents, and and that was it.
And it was like exactly what it needed to be, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like I had a lot of people that I wished that I could have like, you know, been friends with or like stayed connected with. But it's just so interesting how you say like we're kids, like of course we're not going to be with them for like our whole life.
Yeah.
Like why is there that shift like when we grow that we're like, oh well,
people
like,
change. It's like
you know what I
It's
mean?
natural. It's people change, people move, people grow, and people like just have different interests and all that.
Yeah.
It's like no matter what, it's like we would probably never be friends if we didn't have like at least something of interest.
Of course.
It's like we would just be in our own little world, unless we just grew up in the same neighborhood, like in the same like their street, like just we're across from each other. It's like,
and even then you're like acquaintances.
Yeah.
You're not like super
unless like
close
how deep the
bond.
bond was with growing up. It's like if you cut it off short, it's like it's gonna end short.
And I was gonna say like, so like, why do you feel that like us as humans like we hit that point where we grow and we're like, okay, well now the friendships I'm looking for are more like long term versus like we're kids, we're not really thinking like, oh, I need this person's number so that like we can like stay in contact or whatever. Like, why do you feel that there's that switch when we grow that all of a sudden like the relationships that we're in are like preferably a long-term one that we can like have a lifelong friend or like that kind of thing?
Well, it's because we all get lonely. That's like natural. It's like, why do you think people have kids or relationships? We're all lonely at the end of the day. We just want to have someone to talk to.
And it's fucking nice.
And it's like,
it's nice. It's
being
really
like
nice.
a person of like my own side. I like being alone. I like being an introvert. I don't talk to a lot of people.
And that is also really nice.
And it's like I enjoy it. I have more interest just doing my things by myself, and then doesn't mean I don't like talking to people. I love talking to people. People will always bring like great conversations and information that I can always like take in,
which is also really nice.
Like,
yeah,
it doesn't like mean anything bad. It's just like
it's
as
not.
as we get older, it's like a lot of circumstances happen. It's like all your former friends are married, have kids, like they're dealing with their own lives.
Yeah.
So we all make new friends now, and it's like hopefully these ones that can like stay in the same like issues like we have right now until we finally have that chance to grow further.
Yeah, because it's like we understand that we're all going to be doing our own thing.
Of course.
And that's where like the kid part of us kicks in, where we're like, okay, like we might like we're focused on the now. We're here, we're present.
Yes.
But then there's the adult side of us, the more grown side, where we understand, okay, just because we're friends now doesn't mean we'll be friends forever, but it's possible that we can like stay connected. Yeah. And like it would be nice because we already have such a close bond to like reconnect. Yeah,
because we grew up enough together to where we're like we just stuck out with it, and then we had these constant conversations. It's like we just bonded enough to where it's like it's gonna be very hard till one of us like does something bad or we just say no more.
Yeah, and it's also really fucking hard to like disconnect. Yeah, like when you're like super tight with someone, when you're really close with someone, again, relationship as a friend, spouse, or family, it's really fucking hard to like cut that bond.
When I lost
we want to keep
our friend, like for me at least, I don't know if he still talks to you or not.
I know. We barely. Like he apologized to me and then said he would to you eventually. And at that point, it's just on him.
I have no issues regarding him in anything of the sort. It's like, for me, I still think of him as a friend.
Yeah.
It's just that he just said some things that were just inappropriate to say under my household. That was it.
Especially through what you were doing for him.
Yeah. It's like, I don't want to hold that ever against him. I don't want to. I don't like being that individual.
And it's because you're understanding, bro. Like, you know the stress that he was being put through, but that
Yeah, it's
doesn't
like
excuse what he said.
It's not an excuse. Like you can't excuse that. That's just
Mm-mm.
that's horrible to do.
It is.
It's like I don't hate you. I'm trying to do the best I can for you as a
Mhm.
person. That like I care for you. You're one of my friends dearly,
Mm-hmm.
and I just wanted the best for you. I did the best
Yeah.
I could. But when it comes to issues and like things where like it can get problematic fast, it's like I
Mhm.
have to really resolve that at that moment.
You have to draw boundaries.
Yeah,
Always.
like I had to put up the boundary. I had to like
Mhm.
let them know. I'm like I have no issue regarding it. And it ate me up for like a month or two.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I couldn't do anything and
And
like
because you care.
yeah, I couldn't do anything else. I did the best I could.
Mm-hmm.
I still care for them. And
Mhm.
after those 2 months, it's like I still think about him here and there. I
Mhm.
ask questions through the amongst our friends that still
Mhm.
talk to him
Yeah.
if he's doing okay. I have
Yeah. And he is. But that's where, like, I'm with you. Like, I just
and I don't want like my friends to like cut him off. I don't want any
no,
of that.
and yeah, and that's what I was about to say is like I haven't cut him off, especially because he apologized like to me and like came to me and talked about everything.
Yeah.
I opened my arms like because he's willing to meet me halfway. Like when someone is willing to meet us halfway, we should meet them halfway and try and like figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
But that's where boundaries still need to be set because this person did fuck up. This person did mess up.
Of course. It's like
So
it's hard to
not
bring
going
back
to
trust.
be the same.
It's,
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah,
of course.
and even if you do bring back that trust, it's not going to be the same trust as before.
No, of course not.
And so that's where those boundaries must always be set, and that's why, like, since he still hasn't apologized to you, even though he explained to me why and like you know why, it still isn't right for me to like just go hang out with him every single day when I know that like what he's done to you and like still hasn't came forward about it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't feel comfortable at least hanging out with him when you're my brother and like I know how it makes you feel. And so I draw that boundary myself as well, you know.
Yeah. And like maybe I should have kept this private in regards to many things, but like at the end of the day, it's like eventually it might come out. Who knows? I'm just saying my heart out at the end of the day.
It's
Like
you've said nothing bad. Like
I
that's
don't
all
hate
good.
you. I just want
Yeah.
the best for you as a person. It's like that's all I can really say.
Yeah, I mean, bro, wishing someone the best after they've done you wrong is a fucking beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's
I
like
commend you
we
for
all have
that.
to be mature as we get older, because like
Mhm.
we can't act like impulsively as much anymore.
Mm-mm.
We're not that young anymore. We're not dumb.
There are consequences for our actions,
Of course,
and
there's always going to be a consequence.
positive and negative.
Of course.
So yeah, we always got to be aware, bro. And I'm proud of you, bro. You fucking come a long way, dude. We both have.
Of course, we both have. It took a lot for us to like really change in many ways.
Yeah, just
like,
trying every day.
Yeah, we always tried every day. We were like
Trying is
we went
cool
through so many
as
issues.
fuck. Yeah, yeah, we have, bro, and we're still going.
Yeah, we're still going through it.
Yeah, and
we're changing bit by bit, better for worse.
Of course, of course. But like, not only are we still going through the challenges, but we're still progressing. We're still growing. Like we're on top of them. You know what I mean? They're not like on top of us. Like we're on top of them, bro. And that's the beauty, and that's like why we're doing what we're doing right now, is to not only prove to ourselves, but to help us as a whole understand that we have that power to come out on top of situations that feel like they've fallen on top of us. You know, just because you're in a negative situation does not mean that you can't turn it into something positive and grow into something even more beautiful than before.
Yeah.
We have that power. Any thoughts on that before I move on to this next part?
No, nothing in regards to any of that. I think
Okay.
we pretty much said our piece on that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Okay, so any question that you have for me, because I'm curious what's on your mind.
Any questions I have for you? Let's see.
I've been talking a lot too, but that's the whole
fine.
point.
We're all
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's like first podcast episode. We're trying to get it all out.
Yeah,
Trying to get the whole feel and adjusting it all.
it's
I would
very
say
interesting.
the first question I have for you with regards to the amount of people that you've lost. Do you wish to rekindle them ever? As a person who like who has grown enough
Yeah.
and it has the idea of what maturity is now.
Yeah.
It's like when bringing back people that are not friends or anymore with you,
Okay.
like, would that ever rekindle for you? Like people like in the past?
It's funny you mentioned this. I literally went to a hotel like 3 days ago
Yes.
to see my cousins and my family, and I saw someone
Yes.
that you already know this person.
Okay.
It's one of them. I know there's a lot of them,
Yeah.
but one of the people that we were talking about that like I've lost in a sense,
Yes.
just no longer like acquainted with or friends.
Yes.
And this guy, I saw him at the hotel. He like literally, I'm waiting for the elevator, and elevator door opens, and like we see each other, right? Completely avoids eye contact with me, and like, cause he fucked up, and he knows he fucked up, and so completely avoids me and like walks out. And it was just a reminder. Like it really reminded me, like this person is no longer in my life for a reason, you know?
Yeah.
And as much as I enjoyed spending time with them and I cherished that like portion of my life in the sense of like it made me grow,
Yeah.
not cherish it like, oh, it's on a pedestal, I'm still praising it. Like I appreciate it for what it was
Yeah.
and what it has done for me today, but not to the point to where like I see him and I'm like, oh, like, hey, what's up? Like I try and rekindle and stuff. Like for me,
Do
after
you think it ate them a lot? Like
they
when
couldn't
seeing-
look at me. They couldn't even look at me.
But would you want to be the first to say hello? To say like
Me?
yeah.
Like in that moment?
Yeah.
I didn't feel the need to say hi. If we had made eye contact and like at least respected each other enough to look at each other, maybe I would have said like a hello, like how are you doing? Like
Yeah.
after all these years. But I would not have been like, hey, how are you doing? Like let's hang out. Like
no, not that. That's
no.
a little forward, don't you think?
Yeah, not only just a little, just
Yeah,
a little.
like, don't you think that's a little forward to like just rekindle that real fast?
Yeah, no.
What I mean by like rekindling was like
Definitely not
when
that.
you have that eye contact together, you know, to like see each other and all that, to like forward the hello again, and to like catch up on these like matters,
Yeah.
and to see where they are as a person. It's
Yeah.
like always one thing that I always find interesting.
I am open to it with certain people.
Okay.
Like there are certain situations that I feel like could be rekindled.
Yeah.
In the sense, again, boundaries.
Of course.
However, would I feel comfortable enough to hang out alone with them? No.
I can see that. Yeah.
Would I feel comfortable enough to hang out with them and a group of people? Yes.
Yeah.
But it's just like after, and this literally is, even though it's a blanket statement, it goes for like literally all those like relationships, whether it's like exes or friends I'm no longer friends with, or family members that I no longer speak with.
I see it towards only friendships.
Okay.
Ex friendships. I wouldn't say like relationships or like family. Cause
Yeah.
those are very hard to.
Those are
bond.
so situational, bro. Those
like
are
very hard to like rekindle those bonds and all that.
Yeah, and especially like I don't know, when you've been in a relationship with someone and you
Because
try.
I feel like those ones you can only rekindle if you're ending it amicably. Like, you know, like you're both on good terms.
It's a healthy, like, okay, we understand we're just not like good for each other right now.
Yeah.
Like I don't hate you, you don't hate me. Let's both mutually agree to like split ways and grow.
Yeah.
That's like, okay, it's possible. That was not the situation
No.
with any of my past relationships.
Yeah.
Quite the opposite.
I've
so
seen enough.
Yeah, we both have. We both have, brother. So with that being said, as far as that kind of stuff, no. But the blanket statement I did want to say is that there isn't like one rekindling where I would feel comfortable enough to be like alone with that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like it's a very hard thing. Maybe
Because the trust is broken.
The trust is broken, but you can't like hold it against them forever. You have a boundary, and like for all you know, it can re-spark a friendship that you wish it was like on such a good terms from the very beginning. But there's always going to be fallouts in friendships, and if it did rekindle and all that, you eventually would be able to hang out with them by you two, correct?
Outside of like exes and family, yes.
Yes.
Like friends.
Yeah.
Like past people that were past friends becoming friends again. Yes.
Yeah.
I do agree with that. It's just like there's a part of me that feels uncomfortable. Like,
You just can't see yourself doing it not right now.
and that's just me. And
Or
that,
do you think you just need enough time with the individual to really like let that happen?
it's possible that maybe time would be the healing factor there, but it would take so much. Like, we would have to hang out with friend groups mutually for like years, and then talk like through text and phone and like seeing each other for years. And then on top of that, now we try hanging out in person, like privately, just us two. And like, it's just to go through all of that. It's like, let's just not break the trust in the first place. Like, you know what I mean?
Easier said than done. It's like it's like
it's
you never
simple
know.
though. It's
It
really
is simple, but like you can't.
It's really simple.
I can't hold an individual forever on matters that happen. Like,
Of course.
if it's a very situational, as you
I
said.
understand.
Like, I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to make someone hate me for that long because
Yeah.
of something I've done. Because like at that point, you're like, was there a point to rekindling that friendship at any point?
And at that point, it's like, usually no. If
Yeah.
it's like where they fucking, there's hate involved.
Yeah, it's like,
But that doesn't mean you can't reach a mutual ground of like,
of course, there's always the mutual ground, but
Yeah.
some people can resent you for that, like idea of like we can't hang out, you and I anymore. Like we hung out, like let's say you and I were never friends again.
mm-hmm,
We rekindled it, and like we hung out for 2 years, like through mutual friend groups.
okay.
2 years, and then you probably or I probably held animosity because you weren't like trying to like hang out with you and I.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is there a reason behind that fully or no?
Like, to validate that feeling for
Yeah.
them. Well, I guess I can imagine it like, it sucks, you know, like,
Or is that just
You-
a consequence that you're gonna put on them no matter what? If it rekindles.
well, it's like this, right? So like, they fucked up at the end of the day,
Of course.
right? And even like me, I can fuck up, and like someone isn't friends with me because I fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
it can go either way. But in these situations, like, they fucked up, right? So for me to not want to hang out with them one on one, like, if they can't understand that I've been hurt, and that even though I like accept their apology and that like I'm open to being mutual friends with them, they need to understand that I still need space to even try to build that trust again. Like, you can't expect me to trust you the same after you broke my trust. So like,
So no matter what, it's just a fallout consequence of what it is.
there is a set, I'm gonna need time and I'm gonna need space for sure.
Yeah.
I can't envision myself like rekindling immediately, like trust is broken.
Well,
And
what do you think immediate is?
immediate would be like, they apologize and now like we're hanging out alone, like every
that's
week
not
or
what
something.
I'm like. When I think of immediate, I'm like, okay, like we barely rekindled it all, and it's like at least 2 years of that. That's what I mean.
Okay, 2 years is valid, and 2 years
Because
is
like, if you're gonna like hold a person for that long as like a mutual,
yeah.
it's like we're not really friends anymore.
Yeah.
It's like we're just people that just talk to each
But
other.
again, it takes a lot of work.
Of course,
Like,
it takes a lot of work.
They're gonna need to put an effort to like show that they are.
What does that look like to you?
That would look like them, like their actions over their words. Like, they say they're gonna do something and they actually do it, or they don't even say something and they do it anyways. And it's like, for good and only good. You know what I mean? Like, they know I'm struggling, they come and check in on me.
Yeah.
Or like, they don't know I'm struggling and they check in on me anyways. Or like, there's just so many ways to go about it, but like, it would take that effort and consistently for, like you said, like a good amount of time.
Yeah.
So yeah, is it possible with old friends? Yes. Is it going to be a easy process? No. It would definitely take a good amount of time.
I just wanted to know. I wanted to see how
Yeah.
that like play out in most regards, because I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of people would eventually want to come back into your life, and I wanted to see if you were like as accepting or not.
I'm open to it. I'm definitely open to it. It's just like, again, it's going to take some time.
Of
And
course.
I just really wish that like, no, I take that. I don't wish that it didn't happen in the first place, because I truly do believe everything happens as it needs to, so that we can all grow in like whatever way we're meant to grow. But it just sucks. Like, like these are people that like I never thought would leave my life or like do the
Yeah.
things that they've done to me, and like after that it's like really hard for me. It's really fucking hard because I'm like, I don't know, I've had people who've held me as a baby break my trust, and we're talking like 20 years
Yeah.
of my life, and then like multiple times like I forgive them and then did it again, and then I'm like, I forgive the third time, but after the like even after the first time it
You're very
wasn't the
forgiving.
same,
I'm not that type.
you know. And I know it's
Like
I know, but
I'm
it's like
I can forgive if depending on the what the
there's
issue
boundaries.
was. Yeah. What
Yeah.
the issue was that like ended that like bond for me. Like it's got to be really bad to where like I don't want to speak to you. Like I have like real animosity towards you. Like I don't have
And
that.
animosity is like a ferocious word. It's just like, and if you
But
want to
that's
use
what
that,
I mean.
yeah,
It's like
for you,
there's reasons why like I'm not trying to like rekindle this ever or
yeah,
speak with you. It's because
yeah,
there is that kind of reason. That's why I
yeah.
use that word in particular.
For me, like with like let's say this friend that like literally held me as a baby,
Yeah.
and like we've been brothers for like it was like 20 years of my life. I'm 22 now, but at the time where we stopped being friends was like 21. Like so like yeah, my entire life. Um Having that end and like me trying, like I remember his family came over, I was like cooking for the family, and his sister was like, hey, like is it okay if he comes over? I'm like, sure, but like because I had accepted his apology at this point the second
Yeah.
time, but I told him that I didn't want to be friends at this point. Like I don't hate you, like you don't hate me, we're mutuals, we're acquaintances, we know each other and we'll say hi, but like we're not going to be hanging out anymore at this point because you've broken my trust twice, and
Yeah.
I've this is my third time forgiving you actually. So I draw that boundary, and I'm like open to him coming over, like we can be in the same space.
Yes.
But again, I'm not going to immediately be like, yes, like please come over, like let's hang out, like let's talk. Like no, like no. So
that's such a daydream.
that's what I'm, and it's just like if you get mad at me for that, then I don't know what you expect from me. Like
I don't expect
you know what I
anything like
mean?
that to happen. Really, like
Yeah.
in most regards, I
Some
think
people might, you know.
yeah, of course. There's always going to be the outliers. I really believe that like most of us, as we've broken someone's trust or bond in that regard, I think we're respectful enough to step away and like not trying to push anything.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Don't force it. Like, if you actually feel like you want to check in on that person after like breaking their trust, then actually do it.
Yeah.
That's where like you can't fake it. You really can't fake it. You can try, but at the end of the day, the person's gonna pick up. Like their intuition will be like, okay, this person's like doing a bit too much, or
Yeah.
like they're not doing enough. Like you know when you know.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of being human, is we have that like guidance, that intuition, whether you want to say it's from the universe,
the gut feelings, all
yeah,
that.
it's just like we know. Like,
Yeah.
we already know. And so I just yeah, what triggered that question? I'm interested. Like what was the thought process behind that?
I wouldn't say there was much thought process. I just always wondered
Just curiosity.
out of curiosity because like you and I, we lost many people in our lives, like not like in super bad terms. Some were bad, but not. I wouldn't say real bad. I would just
Yeah,
always wondered like,
except for one for me, but yeah.
I just think it was like something to ask is like, how would you handle that or like deal with, and how would
How
you like,
have I handled it as well? Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
no problem.
All right. I
Anything
think
else
that's
you wanna ask?
wraps. I think that's wraps, brother.
First podcast done.
First podcast.
It was a
Many to
great-
go.
it was a great podcast, man. I had enjoyed that.
Beautiful. Awesome. Ugh.